everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 8 of Mighty Moron with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. Today we get to finish off the first season with Club Deportivo Moron with the game against Belgrano in the Argentinian second tier. And to be honest, having had such a successful season in comparison to how it was supposed to be, we can have a fairly chilled out episode, a fairly chilled out game and enjoy the occasion today. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So I wasn't kidding really. 7th place is secure. We've got one game left. We are 4 points clear of Mitre in 8th. We can't catch San Martin, who are in 6th. They are 6 points clear of us. So we get to chill out and have one last game against Belgrano in the Argentinian second division, the Primera B Nacional, and just see if we can get a good performance out of this team before we probably have to reshape it quite a lot in the summer. There's a lot to talk about with regards to that, just because our finances are not particularly brilliant, and I'm not sure they're going to recover too brilliantly in time for next season. We'll see. But we've also got the problem that if we go into our squad page, there's some high wages in our squad, and a couple of them, primarily Salva and Gomez and the likes of Brogy, are all on the last few weeks of their contract. I think one of them has got maybe a couple of months left to go, but a couple of our big players, their contracts are running down, and I can't afford to renew them at the rate that they want. So we could potentially have to reimagine this side completely for next season, because if we lose all of our big players, we're in a lot of trouble. So yeah, watch this space for that. Next episode is going to be very interesting to see what I've been able to do with regards to recruitment over the summer months. But for today, it's about playing our last game against Belgrano. But before we do that, let's go and check out the recent results. So you can see that actually recent results in the run-in haven't been that good, to be honest. We've lost a few games since the Platense game that you and I were together for last. We lost a couple in a row. We then got a draw against Estudiante. We then beat San Martin, the team that are directly above us, but it's not enough to close the gap up to catch them. And now we have one last game against Belgrano. So recent form has not been particularly great, has it really? Considering the run that we had from mid-February through to the end of March, I was hoping for a little bit better. But that's the inconsistency of this team at the moment, whilst I'm still working on it and trying to find a settled unit to move the club forward. I suspect it might be this way for a little while yet. But yeah, anyway, that's where we have been. Where we're going for today is Belgrano. If we go and have a look at the competition page and go and find them, you can see that unfortunately for us, on the last day of the season, we play an already top of the table side that have won the division pretty much. Belgrano sit with 62 points after their 29 games, 4 points clear of Estudiante Buenos Aires, and so they are topping the table whatever happens today. Hopefully that means they put out a slightly weakened side and we can get a good result against them, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. It could be quite tough going up against the top side on the last day of the season. Anyway, that's what we've got to do. So let's go into the tactics and see how we're going to go about it. So in terms of tactical sense, there's not a lot of change, to be honest. We've had to make a few changes personnel-wise that we'll get to. Basically, we've got Gomez, who's picked up too many yellow cards and so is suspended. So he comes out of our central defence. We've then got Brogy at right back, who's not fit enough to play, and Good Boy in the centre of midfield that's not fit enough to play. And we've got a couple of guys coming back from fitness issues as well. So it is a changed lineup, unfortunately. I didn't really want it to be. I would have liked to have kept the number one lineup right the way through the season as much as is possible. But today it hasn't been possible to do. We haven't changed anything tactically. even though it has been a little inconsistent recently. I'm just playing through to the end of this season now. In the summer, I will make a decision about whether I want to keep this shape or reinvent it for next season with all of the different changes personnel-wise that I think we're going to have to make. So if you've got any ideas, should I go to the more balanced 4-3-3 with a wide left player? Should I keep the slightly asymmetric style? What's your thoughts on that moving forward? But for today, we have a team that is Galvin in goal, with Stefan and Corzo in central defence, Gozzarino at right back, Mayola at left back, Nizo, Clanvita and Cholki in central midfield, with the Angel and Ramirez supporting Cherry on top up front, with a bench of Cortave, Olivier, Lilo, Avila, Basidas, Villalba and Ackerman. So let's get into the final game of the season and see what happens. So we've just been calm in our team talk, given them no major instruction, just to go out and enjoy the game, really. We're at home on the final day against the league leaders, so it's going to be tricky, but the home advantage hopefully will help us with a good performance. And a good interception there. They had a wayward pass that went over the top, but we managed to bring it down. And Chalky finds himself on the left-hand side playing that Metzala role where he drops wide, puts a good cross in, and the header hits the woodwork. Chalky gets it back again down that left-hand side. And Chalky, remember, is one of my Patreons. He has found himself in the game through the Patreon tier. And is getting some game time as a 17-year-old that is improving all the time. So hopefully next season we can advance him even further. So keep an eye on that. I'll fill you in with that occasionally here and there. But there's a defensive error from Stefan as Belgrano go through down the right-hand side with a fairly long ball. A bit nothingy. There were two opportunities, I think, for us to really properly get a defender there. And we didn't do it at all. So here's the ball through. The first defender, the left back, just got caught on his heels and the striker ran past him. Stefan came across but didn't get a good challenge in at all. And we go 1-0 down after about 9 minutes of the game. Having started quite brightly, I thought, with those couple of crosses in from Chalky. But again, we're on the ball down this right-hand side. Cherry on top was dropped deep to come and get involved in the play. Dropped it back to Gozzarino, into Clanvita, onto the Angel, back to Nizo, keeping it well in midfield. Cherry on top, back into Nizo. So we're moving the ball up and down the pitch, keeping the possession quite well. And then they get themselves into all sorts of a problem. Chalky puts a ball over the top. The defender heads it back towards goal, completely befuddles the goalkeeper, comes off the post. And it's Cherry on top that reacts to it the quickest. And we go 1-1 after 17 minutes. It was a decent enough ball over the top from Chalky, but one of our right-sided player, Ramirez, didn't really read it and wasn't really following in. So we got a bit lucky that the defence got themselves in such a mess up. But I will happily take it. And we go back to 1-1. So back to even Stevens, really. Good chance for a throw-in to put the pressure on again down the left-hand side for us. Didn't quite work out on the initial attempt, but we retained possession right the way back in our defensive area, and we've gone all the way back to the goalkeeper. Where is he going to put it now? How long is he going to go? He doesn't go that long, which is good. Mayola on the left-hand side into Nizo, back to Corzo, keeping the ball very, very nicely. It's what I really like to see. Ramirez finds his space down the right hand side, but is closed down by the left fullback, and eventually he gets a challenge in, and Belgrano come away with the ball down the left hand side themselves, and we have to regroup and restructure. Can we do so? They've swept the ball to the far side and continue to move forward. A deep cross, and you could see the goal open up on this side for Lujan to get a fantastically comfortable header in, really. A really good sweeping ball in from the far side, and our defence wasn't awake to the fact that there was a lurker at the far post, and the goalkeeper had come across his goal to cut down the angle initially from the cross, but it had gone right past him, and eventually there was a huge space and they couldn't miss. And on 25 minutes or so, they went 2-1 up. little bit disappointing, really. We're in the game. You can see the match stats suggest that we are keeping par with them, which is fabulous to see. So there is a good team in this setup that we have. But today, just so far, we've been a little bit unlucky and occasionally a little bit lapse in what we're supposed to be doing defensively. So we are going to tell them quite rightly that the performance is a little bit disappointing just because of those lapses in concentration, really. And we're going to send them back out there and then use the shout of demand more just to see if we can refocus them for this second half. As I say, we can fairly well chill out and relax with the result. It doesn't mean anything in terms of our league position is set for this season, but it would still be nice to get a positive result of some sort. But it's Belgrano again that go right the way back to their goalkeeper this time to keep possession. And Acosta can drift out of his area and then find a good ball into the right side of midfield. They've dropped it back again in defence and they're keeping the ball quite nicely, but there's the mistake. They went long, we won the challenge enough to get it back into our possession, and we've gone back to our goalkeeper to rebuild an attack down this left-hand side with Mayola. It's interesting, isn't it? I've definitely got the instructions to go through the middle more than anywhere else, but it still feels like we're being pushed out wide more so. So I might have to change from the central instruction to the right side instruction and put it more out there where we've got more numbers, because you can't play both. I've discovered you can't go centrally and right, you can only go one or the other in that sense. But we've won a penalty at 66 minutes whilst I was talking through there, and cherry on top smashes it at the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper manages to get enough on it just to put it round the post for a corner kick. Disappointing. Ramirez to the far post with a corner kick though. We get another chance, and a good chance, a good couple of attempts, but the goalkeeper eventually puts it over the top of the bar again for a corner kick. And we get to reset for this set piece. Ramirez again to the back post, but this time the goalkeeper comfortably comes and collects a very looping, not particularly dangerous corner kick. So at 71 minutes, we're going to go and make a few changes, see what we can do just to reinvigorate this side for the last few minutes of the game. We've got a problem. Stefan at the back not playing well enough. Cortave will come in for him. Ramirez on the right-hand side, those corner kick deliveries, etc., not been good enough today. And then we've got Kranvita also in central midfield, not at his best. Or we've got someone like Cherry on top that's a little bit lower in his conditioning. And what I'm going to do is take Cherry on top off, because this might be possibly the last appearance for Ackerman. Now, he hasn't been seen a huge amount this season. He's 39, 40 years old. He's got some good attributes, but his physicals are dying completely, really. But what I would say is that I know enough about the club through various people letting me know that he is an absolute hero at the club and pretty much their best ever player. So we'll give him one last chance to get on the score sheet, possibly before he moves on. We'll see. But the Angel on the ball down the right-hand side, back into Nizo, working the ball very nicely on the edge of the box. Can we find a spot for a shot? And it's Kranvita that has one. And then the follow-up by Chalky is a little bit wild and a little bit wide, and ultimately doesn't challenge the goalkeeper. A little bit disappointing on that attempt, just because we had a good chance to get another shot on target. But in the end, we make it through to the final whistle, and ultimately we lost to the top side in the division 2-1, which wasn't bad. We played all right at times, but occasionally a few lapses in concentration did us in on this particular occasion. So passionately, put the result aside, that was a pleasing performance. They didn't think so. They switched off, but it doesn't matter. It's the end of the season. I was trying to build them up. Who knows, out of all of that lot, how many of them will be here next season? Because genuinely, at this point, I have absolutely no idea. We've got a lot that are coming up to the end of their contract. Look, we've got, about 8 to 10 players all coming up on the end of their contract, and I'm not going to be able to renew all of these. I've been trying through the season to do some of them, and it's been really hard. So this could be a really different side next time you and I were together. And next time you and I are together will be at the very beginning of next season, having gone through the summer transfer window. We won't analyse the game today. It was a bit of a nothingy game. It didn't matter either way. But ultimately, 7th in the first season is fantastic. We were supposed to finish absolutely stone last and get relegated, and we haven't been, which is really, really pleasing. And it gives us something to work for next season. All things considered, I'm delighted, but I am a little bit scared about what this side will look like at the start of next season. I hope you'll join me for that. It'll be fun and interesting to find out how well we've done over the summer, and then equally as interesting to see how the team then hit the ground running or not at the beginning of next season. So I hope you'll join me for that. Thank you for joining me today, though. Thank you for joining me for this series so far. It's been a fun first season. Let's see if we can continue to improve. But subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode if you can. That helps it get seen by lots of other people, so that'd be great for the channel if you could do that. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.